This video is made in partnership with Best Buy. I've been wearing the Apple Watch Ultra for a good part of the past 2 years, and the few times I wasn't using it was when I switched to Samsung and I was testing out the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic and the Galaxy Watch Ultra. I actually even considered ditching smartwatches altogether, but I just love the convenience and functionality it brings into my life, so I found myself back to this. The Apple Watch 10. And it's not because I didn't like the Apple Watch Ultra, I actually really love that watch, but it's more because the changes they made to the Apple Watch 10 just makes it a better fit for what I'm looking for. So in this video, we'll talk about how those changes improved my experience when it comes to using the Apple Watch 10. I'll also share what I missed from the Apple Watch Ultra, and in the end, I'll give you guys my recommendations. But before anything else, please consider subscribing to the channel. I saw that only 3.3% of you guys watching are actually subscribed to the channel, and it would make a lot of difference if you guys could subscribe so I can continue making videos just like this one. Before we start, I think it would be helpful to know what I use my Apple Watch for. I use it to get notifications. I have my phone on silent 100% of the time, and during work hours, I don't always carry my phone with me, so this allows me to stay connected but not distracted. I use it to track my sleep and my fitness. I'm doing mostly home workouts, walks, and hikes, and I also love completing my rings just to ensure I'm moving throughout the day. I use my watch to set timers, like a lot of them throughout the day. I like to use the Pomodoro method, which is basically doing 25 minutes of focused work and 5 minutes break, and the Apple Watch allows me to stay on track. I also use it in between sets, when I'm cooking, when it's time to head out the door to go to a meeting. I basically use this timer for everything. It's also my alarm clock. I find the vibrations on my wrist is a more pleasant way of waking up. And of course, I also use this as an accessory. I've been wearing watches since I was 17, and this is basically the only accessory I wear other than my wedding ring. For certain occasions, I'll ditch my Apple Watch for one of my regular watches, but recently I've been okay giving up some style points for the smartwatch functionality. It's become the watch that I wear for almost anything and everything, so I want it to look good and have a great battery life. And although the Apple Watch 10 still has a similar battery life, it now has faster charging. Apple says you can get from 0 to 80% in 30 minutes when using the new USB-C with at least a 20-watt power adapter, like this one that I got from today's sponsor, Best Buy. Whenever I purchase new products, Best Buy is always my go-to place to explore the top offerings from different brands. They always have a great selection of products from cases to chargers, and I love that I can go in store and get the item I want right when I want it. I got this power adapter from Anker because although it's small and compact, it can actually fast charge most of your devices. You can charge up to 65 watts while using this power adapter, and you can plug in up to 3 devices because it has 2 USB-C and 1 USB-A port. So this is a really good power adapter to have at all times. If you're looking for something that's great to have on your desk, nightstand, or for travel, this 3-in-1 folding charging station is perfect. It's comparable to the size of a deck of cards, so it's easy to place anywhere. All you have to do is plug it in and you instantly have a charging station. It has a dedicated spot for your watch and earbuds, and since it's Qi 2 certified, you can fast charge your new phone using MagSafe. And speaking of MagSafe, I always recommend getting a case that's built for MagSafe so you get protection without sacrificing functionality. And this clear case from Spec is perfect for showcasing your new phone. It has a clear guarantee to prevent yellowing and antimicrobial protection. Despite its slim design, it's highly protective. It actually protects your phone from drops up to 13 feet, and it works with Spec's Click Lock accessories, which combines the convenience of MagSafe while giving you more security. It prevents any accessories you attach on your phone from slipping, like this wallet, which you can use to store up to 3 cards, and it's a really great everyday carry companion. These are just a few of the amazing accessories you can find at Best Buy. So I highly recommend that you explore their website or visit a store in person to find the perfect accessory for your new devices. And special thanks to Best Buy for sponsoring this portion of the video. The design changes they made to the Apple Watch 10 is not mind-blowing by any means. There's a new jet black option which looks really nice, and a new polished titanium finish, which is what I have. But overall, it still looks similar to the previous models, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it can look a little too boring, and that's what drew me to the Apple Watch Ultra when it first came out. I just wanted something new and different. But I will say, when it comes to the Apple Watch 10, the whole is definitely greater than the sum of its parts. Being lighter and thinner makes the Apple Watch 10 feel more like a regular watch on your wrist. It looks sleek and classy, especially in this titanium version. It doesn't get caught on clothes that have long sleeves, and it's just good at blending in. But if you're coming from a Series 7 or 9, I'm not sure you'll feel much of a difference. I think definitely from a Series 6 or older, and you'll definitely notice the difference if you're coming from the Apple Watch Ultra. It's just so apparent. My wrist size is 6¼ inches, and typically I like to wear a 40 to 42 millimeter size watch. And when you compare the Apple Watch 10 with the Ultra from a top-down perspective, the Ultra doesn't really look that much bigger. However, it's the height that really makes a big difference. It protrudes a lot more, which makes it bulkier. But don't get me wrong, I've grown to love the Apple Watch Ultra, and that's why I stuck with it for that long. It's surprisingly light despite its size. I even found it comfortable for sleep tracking, especially with the Trail Loop band. But visually, the Apple Watch 10 looks more proportionate to me, especially on my smaller wrist, and the experience is just closer to a regular watch. Visually, the Galaxy Watch 6 Classic was actually really close to what I wanted, but in terms of experience, I didn't find it to be as polished as the Apple Watch. The Apple Watch 10 feels snappy and responsive, and it offers a great experience. The biggest thing for me right now is the 1 Hz always on display. Basically, it now refreshes every second instead of every minute, so you see the second-hand tick, which adds to that regular watch feel and look. You can see this in the new watch faces like reflections and flux, which I think looks really cool. The new wide-angle OLED display is also a welcomed addition. This makes the Apple Watch 10 easier to view off-angle. When the screens are on, you won't really notice a difference. It's in that dim/always on mode where you really start to see it. It's brighter, so it's easier to tell the time and stuff. The Apple Watch 10 also has a bigger screen. It's technically bigger than the Apple Watch Ultra, about 3% bigger to be exact, which is not that apparent in person, and I'm okay with that. I don't really want this watch to get any bigger, but it does make interacting with the watch a lot easier. It is a shame though that the bezels are thicker compared to the Series 9. I think that's kind of a step backward, but it is what it is. Something new to me is the double tap feature, which I initially thought was going to be a gimmick until I experienced it with the Galaxy Watch Ultra. The first gen Apple Watch didn't have it, so I was excited to try it here, and it works very similarly. I can use it to answer phone calls, turn off my timer, snooze my alarm clock, or even take photos when using it as a camera remote, and I think it's pretty useful. You can also now use the speakers to play music and audiobooks, and the sound quality is pretty decent, but I do question when this would be useful. The only time I could kind of see this coming handy is if I'm on a walk or hike, but then again, I would likely just bring earbuds or play music using my phone. I also tested the voice isolation feature, which does a good job of canceling noise, but the mic quality is kind of okay, so I would only really use this in a pinch. My biggest concern coming from the Apple Watch Ultra was battery life, and I was really hoping they would improve the batteries on the Apple Watch 10, but they didn't. However, they did give us faster charging, which I guess is better than nothing. Here's what a typical day looks like for me. I wake up anytime between 7 to 8 a.m. and I'll have about 85%. For my settings, I have always on display turned on. I have it at the lowest brightness setting, which is still pretty bright in my opinion, and I use it just like I stated earlier. I'm setting multiple timers in the day, getting notifications. I typically try to get in a 30 to 45 minute workout, and at the end of my workday around 6 p.m., I'd have about 35 to 45%. Around 7:30 to 8 p.m. is when I would usually shower, so this is when I charge my watch. And personally, I just leave my watch charging throughout the night until it's time to go to bed at around 11 o'clock to midnight. But I did do a 20-minute charging test just to simulate how it would be if you wanted to wear the watch right after showering, and after charging for 20 minutes, my Apple Watch went from 40 to 67%. The key here is finding the right charging time based on your activities, because for me personally, as long as I have 100% by the time I go to bed, it's able to keep up with me the following day with about 30 to 40% left to spare, which is good enough, especially if I'm going out that night. As much as I'm enjoying the Apple Watch 10, I do miss a few features from the Apple Watch Ultra. I miss the 2 to 3 day battery life, because even though I can make it work with the Apple Watch 10 battery, I can't deny that having more battery life would be great. Night mode is another one. When I'm putting my son to sleep, I like to have my watch on night mode so I can still see the time without him being distracted by a bright screen. And I actually really missed this one, so what I've been doing is I've just been putting my watch on theater mode instead. And lastly, I missed the action button. I didn't realize how much I use the Apple Watch Ultra as a flashlight, and having that dedicated button just makes it so easy and convenient. Despite all of that, I still recommend the Apple Watch 10 to anyone with a Series 6 or older. I probably would pick the jet black aluminum color because it looks so good. It gives you that sophisticated look without paying extra, but no regrets here, I love the model that I have. This titanium version just looks clean, and it also has a stronger glass so it should be more durable. The Series 9 would also be a great option. The main thing I would keep in mind is you won't be getting the second-hand movement, the wide-angle OLED, voice isolation, speakers, and the 15-minute faster charging, but those might be worth giving up considering the potential savings. If you want an Apple Watch with the best battery life, I would definitely get the Apple Watch Ultra 2. It's an amazing watch, especially if you prefer a rugged look or if you need a device that can handle tough conditions. It has a lot of features that would be perfect for an active and outdoorsy person, but it's also okay if you want to get it just based off of its looks. I got it knowing full well I wouldn't be using most of its features, and I loved it. But for me personally, I'm sticking with the Apple Watch 10. I find the upgrades they made were enough to satisfy my desire for a watch that feels like a regular timepiece with the functionality of a smartwatch, at least for now. And if you guys made it this far in the video, let me know which one you prefer. Do you like the Apple Watch 10 or do you prefer the Apple Watch Ultra 2? If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, subscribe to the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.